Buongiorno, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. Your resident Darth Despondos at your service. Stupid things people say. That's not what I asked. Now, while there's some validity to it, I guess, and a person like myself who has Asperger's syndrome, we don't often like to explain our perspective, but we just like to tell you about it. And that often comes out in answering a question in which you skip over several things of dialogue. And a lot of times it's certainly because, well, the person that I had the most problem with that, saying that to me, really he really couldn't stand how I did things, of course, well, because I had Asperger's syndrome, and I mean, we were friends and stuff like that, there was many times we were enemies, we were frenemies, basically, in some ways, but some days we had a good day. But, basically what happens is they're asking their question from their perspective of what they think is going on. Well, I have additional information that is, that they're not aware of, that is pertinent to the situation, but I've never tried it, but I think, well, if I've tried it, they've always accepted it, and it wasn't with that person. I never figured out how to do it with that. Well, one question that could have happened, like say with my phone, I have Google Maps, which will help me get somewhere. And people may ask me, it's like, well, do you remember how to get there? And my question is, well, I have Google Maps. And that guy, if he was asking, says, well, that's not what I asked. Well, if you understood exactly what that meant, then it would answer your question. And I think that was my biggest mistake, is that I oftentimes would assume they would understand, but they didn't. They never did. He never did. So that was always a problem for me. Okay. But I think mainly I just have to explain it. So, well, if I don't know how to get there, then I have Google Maps. And I don't really remember any of the questions that he ever asked me so much, and like what my responses were, where he would say that. That was over 10 years ago. It was like, but yeah, it was always interesting. I'm trying to think of one example, but or another thing that people would do is that they would often, another variation, I guess this happened with my late best friend, they would often be explaining something, and they would often say something, but then I would try to take it further without explaining it. God, I hate doing these videos when there's too many people around. I mean, it's bad enough that you know, it's weird how people will be talking and they're on their phone, and if they have like a headset on, or if you think they're talking to you or to themselves, or but then you realize, oh, he has a headset. Well, I've kind of gotten used to it, but I don't like to do it in my car because on the video you're seeing me taking the video, but they don't see a headset on. Maybe I should put the headset on just to make them think that I'm talking on the phone. Maybe I should do that. But I think a lot of it. Well, one time, much like my best friend, the situation I had with him, people would make their friends I had on overnights. We'd be discussing something, and one time we were talking about the we're talking about different types of bullets, and we were talking about what a guy did with his bullets in the military, and well, and see, it's for me that I'm always trying to make myself look really, really smart. So we were talking about the bullets, you know, and I asked, well, how much does it weigh? And I immediately assumed that he thought that he knew what I meant. And I don't remember what happened after that exactly. I think he just said, well, I don't know for sure, but they started making fun of me a few days later about, they were saying all kinds of things, like other variations, like, oh, but how much does it weigh? It's like I'm taking a cruise, how much does the ship weigh? It's like, okay, I don't know where that, but then I finally figured out what they were talking about. But my main thing was is I thought I was being privy to and showing my knowledge of finding out what the trajectory was, and he wondered, well, how come you didn't say that? And I just said, well, I just assumed you knew what I was talking about. So, but anyway, just to let you know, folks, so if somebody asks you a question and you have an unexpected answer that will answer all that stuff, just answer their question first, but in the same sentence say your answer.